The old, decrepit pawn shop sat nestled between two towering skyscrapers in the heart of the city. Its dimly lit interior was a labyrinth of forgotten treasures and eerie relics. Among the dusty shelves and forgotten antiques, David stumbled upon a tarnished coin. It was a simple thing, the size of a quarter, with an unfamiliar symbol etched onto one side. The other side bore the image of a sinister-looking demon, its eyes filled with malevolence. David found it odd, but he figured it was just an odd piece of currency from a foreign land. Unbeknownst to him, the coin carried a curse, a darkness that would soon engulf his life. That night, as David lay in bed, a creeping unease washed over him. The room seemed colder, and shadows danced menacingly on the walls. It was as though the darkness had seeped into his very soul. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Over the next few days, misfortune seemed to follow David like a relentless predator. His alarm clock failed to go off, making him late for an important meeting. His car broke down on a deserted road, leaving him stranded for hours. His girlfriend, Emily, suddenly decided to end their relationship, leaving him heartbroken and bewildered. Each incident seemed like an isolated stroke of bad luck, but David couldn't help but connect them to the coin he had found. He decided to do some research, and late one night, he discovered an ancient legend surrounding a coin that brought only misery to its possessor. The legend told of a demon imprisoned within the coin, a malevolent entity that reveled in the suffering of its host. David's heart raced as he read the tales of those who had fallen victim to the coin's curse. They spoke of accidents, illnesses, and personal tragedies that befell them, all traceable back to the wretched coin. Some claimed to have heard whispers in the dark, tormenting voices that threatened their sanity. Desperation consumed David. He knew he had to rid himself of the cursed coin, but it seemed impossible. No matter how many times he tried to get rid of it, the coin always found its way back to him. It was as if the demon within had become attached to his very being. One fateful night, as David lay sleepless in bed, he heard a sinister whisper coming from the corner of the room. It was a voice filled with malice and cruelty, the voice of the demon from the coin. "David," it hissed, "you cannot escape me. I am bound to you now, and your suffering is my delight." Cold sweat dripped from David's brow as he clutched the cursed coin tightly in his hand. He knew he had to confront the demon, to find a way to break the curse, no matter the cost. In the days that followed, David delved deep into the occult, seeking any shred of knowledge that might help him banish the malevolent entity. He visited mystics, consulted ancient texts, and even dabbled in forbidden rituals. But the demon remained elusive, tormenting him with nightmares and bringing ruin to his life. As weeks turned into months, David's life unraveled. He lost his job, his friends abandoned him, and he was plagued by relentless insomnia. He became a hollow shell of his former self, driven to the brink of madness by the relentless torment of the demon. One fateful night, as David sat in the darkness of his desolate apartment, he felt a sudden searing pain in his chest. It was as though a vice was squeezing the life out of him. Gasping for breath, he clutched his chest, his vision growing blurry. Then, in the shadows, he saw it, the demon, a grotesque and monstrous figure with fiery red eyes and twisted, gnarled limbs. It grinned wickedly, its voice echoing in David's mind. "Your suffering has been exquisite, David," it crooned. "But now, it is time for the final act." As David's vision faded, he summoned the last of his strength and mustered his resolve. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the cursed coin. With all the fury and desperation he could muster, he hurled it at the demon. The cursed coin struck the demon with a resounding clang, creating a blinding, piercing light that engulfed the room. David shielded his eyes, his heart pounding in his chest as the demon shrieked in agony. It writhed and contorted, struggling to maintain its form as the light seared through it. As the room filled with the blinding radiance, David realized that his pure intentions had summoned this light, a force that could vanquish the demon. With newfound determination, he focused on the light, willing it to grow stronger, brighter, and more intense. The demon howled and thrashed, its malevolent voice growing weaker with each passing moment. David pressed on, pouring every ounce of his willpower into the light, determined to rid himself of this malevolent presence once and for all. Just as it seemed the demon could no longer withstand the searing light, the room's door burst open, and Emily stood in the doorway, a mix of concern and disbelief on her face. She had been worried about David since their breakup and had decided to check on him. What she found was beyond her wildest nightmares. Without hesitation, Emily rushed to David's side, her love for him overcoming her fear. She could see the agony in his eyes as he struggled to maintain the light. With trembling hands, she reached for the cursed coin lying on the floor and joined her willpower with his, adding her pure intentions to the radiant energy. The room quaked as the combined power of David and Emily's love and determination intensified the blinding light. The demon, now a mere shadow of its former self, screeched in terror, desperately trying to escape. But it was too late. The light consumed it, obliterating the malevolent entity from existence. As the light subsided, leaving the room bathed in a gentle, warm glow, David and Emily collapsed to the floor, breathless and exhausted. They had defeated the demon, but the toll on their bodies and spirits was immense. Slowly, they regained their strength, helping each other up. The cursed coin lay on the ground, now a mere ordinary piece of metal, devoid of any dark energy. David picked it up and held it in his hand, feeling a sense of triumph and relief. Emily wrapped her arms around him, tears streaming down her face. "I never should have left you," she whispered. "I love you, David." David held her close, his heart swelling with emotion. "I love you too, Emily. You saved my life." In the days that followed, David and Emily worked together to ensure that the demon's curse had truly been broken. They researched ancient rituals and consulted experts in the supernatural to ensure their safety. Slowly but surely, their lives began to return to normal. Their love grew stronger with each passing day, and they knew that they could face anything as long as they were together. The experience had changed them, made them appreciate the preciousness of life and the power of love and determination. David kept the cursed coin as a reminder of their triumph over the darkness. It served as a reminder that even in the face of the most malevolent forces, love and pure intentions could prevail. As they stood together, hand in hand, they knew that they had faced a demon that had tormented them both, and they had emerged victorious. But they also knew that the world was filled with mysteries and dangers beyond imagination, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, as long as they faced them together.
Tune in next time to the next episode of Portals of Terror. Don't forget to like and share the videos.